So I saw this documentary, and it was about the state of Oklahoma, and saying it was the most conservative state in the union. Uh, and I thought it was interesting because they have a very large incarceration rate, and they have like that good old boy, what is it, like 3-strike program, where it's like if you get in trouble the first time, of course they're gonna try to scare the crap out of you, and then by the time the third time, well, now you're going for life. A lot of their punishments, like they showed like the cops raiding somebody's house, and they found, I guess the guy was making whiskey or something, and the guy went to prison, and they said what he was doing, like making it and wanting to manufacture it illegally, would be the same thing as like if he was making meth. And I was just sort of like, what the like,
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not sure who produced the documentary, and I guess maybe I should have like said that, but if any people who listen to this live in Oklahoma or have been through Oklahoma, if anything that I'm saying is accurate or not accurate, let us know. Because I was thinking about like how they were talking about the differences between the South and the North, and how like a lot of our problems that are surfacing now are due to issues that were never resolved before the Civil War. And in a lot of ways, they were saying like Oklahoma is a product of that.
I find that interesting considering the history of Oklahoma. I mean, what little I do know of Oklahoma, I find that considering it, the predominant members of the state were, I don't know if they still are, but were predominantly Native American tribes that were ushered there. It seems like an unresolved problem for even longer than that. But so
that was
so
just mildly.
Yeah.
McVeigh and his fertilizer bomb.
Which, I mean, that was, I don't know if you guys remember, but the Timothy McVeigh bombing was a retaliation for Waco. So it was how dare you come down upon us trying to take guns from people and killing Americans. I'm going to blow up more Americans.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That
makes a government building. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, we'll do it right near the nursery, douchebag.
Well, I also noticed that at the when this documentary was made, they said that you would think it would be Mississippi, but no, it was Oklahoma that was rated dead last in education in the United States.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me.
It's also ground zero for the states that want to make religion mandatory back in the public school system again.
Yes, they talked about that as well.
When I say religion, I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about
their religion.
Yeah.
Their religion.
Yes.
And that's what I think. That's what I've been noticing a lot, like just based on like how I grew up and everything, and just how their attitude is. It's like, this is not a good PR campaign for you guys.
Yeah.
Hitching your wagon to what's, you know what I mean? This is going to end bad.
Ryan, do you have your Google pulled up?
I can. What are you looking for?
I'm thinking that the Pastafarians, the flying spaghetti monster, I think that actually originated in Oklahoma. I think.
No, it's Kansas. It was. I'm pretty sure it was the Kansas school board.
I knew it was somewhere in that area.
Yep. Religion was started by Bobby Henderson in 05 in protest against the Kansas Board of Education.
Oh,
Decision required the teaching of intelligent design in public schools. Yeah.
Doesn't go further back than that. Wow.
Hey, which state was it where they had the Temple of the Church of Satan put like their statue of Baphomet up next to the Ten Commandments?
Ooh, what was that? That was
Good question.
And they got their panties all in a bunch.
Yeah, where was
I
that?
remember.
I want to say it was Arkansas or Oklahoma, somewhere over there.
Apparently there was a fight about it in New Hampshire last year.
Yeah, but it was somewhere down south.
I wonder what Bernie thought about that.
I don't think Bernie's from Vermont, so I don't think he
Oh,
cares.
that's right. My bad.
And Bernie's Jewish, so I don't think he probably had too much of a. Let's see.
By the way, everyone, I just want to get it and let it be known now that I am snacking on roasted vegetable crackers with roasted red pepper hummus.
We should have that like a reoccurring thing. Dee's display of recommended food for watching our podcast.
Snack of the week.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That's one of the Baphomet statues.
Yep. Can you imagine?
Or at least that's one of the ones where there was it was going to go because of in 2012 the representative for the Republicans in Tulsa wanted to put a Ten Commandments monument in Oklahoma City. There we go.
See. Statue of Muhammad, yeah. 2014, it was the Oklahoma State Capitol, yeah.
It's funny how it all kind of ties back to that part of the country.
It's where religion is strong, but it's the funny thing is it's not like the it is one particular form of the religion.
No, but I think the big thing though is that when they say like, "Hey, we want to open all our meetings with a word of prayer," and somebody snaps back at it and says, "No, I don't think that's a good idea," well, then they play victim, like, "Oh, well, you're attacking me. You're attacking my faith." They play the victim.
Whereas you can't make me do my faith. You can do your faith, just don't make me do your faith. That's the failing point.
That's where the disconnect is, and it's just like you have to draw a hard line in the sand with these people. You have to be like Picard in First Contact. This far, no further.
I used to attend some community meetings out where I live, and I mean, not that it really bugged me or anything, but they always had to open with prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance, and I was just like, we're here representing like a small farming community, and I get it. I see why you guys are going to do it. It's tradition, but can we just get on to business?
Yeah.
Ultimately, I kind of stopped going to the meetings because they seem to be recruiting sessions every time for, well, we've got the next blank coming up. Let's recruit the same group that's here in this building. I'm like, oh, I'm out. I've done enough.
I don't mind the Pledge of Allegiance if it is a government function. And I think that's the thing that gets me. At what point do we realize that the function or the ritual that we're going through has no real purpose? So if you're, and I get into this about economics as well, especially in America, but if you go to a government meeting and they do the Pledge of Allegiance, okay, well, the Pledge of Allegiance is to the government. You're at a government meeting. A plus A equals A. I'm fine with that. That's something that is relevant. Now, whether or not you should be required to, that then falls down to whether or not, right of free speech and everything else. You go to a religious establishment and they tell you to do something religious. Okay, you have the choice of either staying there or walking out. All right. But if you go to a government thing and they say, hey, let's do something religious, those aren't the same thing. Like it clearly states in the Constitution, freedom of religion, which is not freedom for your religion. It is freedom of religion. You can practice, but that means everyone else can practice. And I think we are, and this isn't a new thing, but I think this is just a creep in our society that we expect government to do anything and everything. We expect companies to do anything and everything. We expect everyone else to do anything and everything. And we expect them to do nothing. That everything should be done for us. When I say it for government and companies, why are our companies providing health insurance? Why are they providing disability insurance? Why are they providing dental? Why are they providing life insurance? Mm-hmm. All of this ends when you no longer are their employee. They only care while you are effectively their slave. They keep their crop of people healthy while you work for them. But when you have been sold off to somebody else by going and getting a job somewhere else, you are no longer their problem. Our government has a vested stake in our well-being. Each one of us makes money to pay taxes to keep the government rolling. Each one of us is a voting person who makes the system work. And if we are not here, that doesn't work. So the government should be the one who is eyeballing on how best to make sure we, the flock, are healthy so that they, the government, continue to function as needed to continue this cycle. That's part of the reason why I'm for socialized medicine, is just pushing that to a different direction and allow businesses in America, which hampers actually businesses because they spend so much damn money on all these additional benefits. Why are we losing to foreign countries? Because our companies could actually pay less money to the employees by getting rid of all this benefits. Do you know how much that freaking costs? That's why they want to do contractors instead of actual employees. Fine, dump it all off on the federal government. Increase your tax bearing on that. Boom, our economy goes nuts. Solution. Like, is it a one for one? No, but it's a hell of a lot better than the system is right now. But
it'll free up companies to actually, try and figure out how to run better as a company rather than trying to negotiate with the insurance providers.
Negotiate with the insurance companies, negotiate with the unions on how to get better benefits, negotiate on all of this stuff. There's so many things. Really, all they're going to have to worry about is what the safety components of the job are, that they are not endangering people. Liability. Actually, all of this is really liability related. Safety and OSHA, and excess liability that doesn't get covered by any of that, like discrimination, etc. Boom, you're done. You're sick. All right, we'll keep you on the books. We're not going to pay you for 12 weeks. Your health insurance is covered by the federal government. Your disability is covered by the federal government through, SSDI. How is this our problem? Like, you come back when you're healthy, awesome. We can invite you back in, and it becomes smooth transition.
Yeah.
And actually even reduces the amount of requirement on employers to track a lot of this crap, which it costs HR people, which requires all this stuff on top of that. It is nuts how much money goes into that. And it's because there's so many sub companies making money off this crap that nothing changes. Health insurance companies are making money off the health insurance. Vendors who handle FMLA and disability are making money off of that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that's like just the tip of the iceberg of the thing that pisses me off about all that. But it does go back to the expecting something to be done by somebody else who doesn't fit within that mold of where they need to be. And government should be just making sure that religions aren't kicking the crap out of each other. That's it. They shouldn't be sponsoring one over the other. They should just be, all right, Christians, you don't beat up on Jews. Jews, you don't beat up on Muslims. Muslims, you don't beat up on Hindus. I don't care. Give a crap. All of you stay nice. And as long as I don't need to come in there and beat the crap out of all of you at the same time, we're good. Do your religion thing and be nice. That's it. And if you guys want to hate each other, that's cool. Just don't let it boil out into blood in the streets. The second you do that, the second you put a hate imagery outside somebody else's temple or church, we're going to bring down the heat on you. Otherwise, be cool. I don't see why that's so hard to do. And you know why it's so hard to do?
You just did the big, like, keep it down. Keep it down right there.
It's the get the hell off my lawn, old man speech right there. It's
Wait,
like,
whoa, dude, I was really impressed. You totally like took that and ran with it. Like, my God,
me, soapbox, never.
Way down the road there. Damn, I never seen Ryan move that fast.
See, the important part was I brought it all the way back to what we were talking about.
Gone.
So I'm a little bit on the. I woke up this morning and I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was the peace plan that Trump's.
No, I feel you. I've had one of those weeks too. Go ahead.
So I saw the peace plan that they pushed out to Ukraine. I saw it a couple days ago. I looked at it and went, pardon my French, you guys are a bunch of fucking assholes. And I saw it and I kind of went, okay. And I then saw Zelensky did a response. And I saw like a little snippet of it. And I
feel bad for that guy, man.
Yeah.
I do too, but to be honest, with everything that's going on, like sometimes the leader that needs to be where they are arises in the moment, and this dude is the Churchill of our lifetime. No matter how this turns out, they win, they lose, whatever. Unless he has been selling them out the whole time, this dude is freaking Churchill because he is doing the most with the least. And yeah, they're losing. There was no expectation that they could win, but to be holding out, and we're almost 4 years later.
Yeah.
And the Russians, great. The Russians got their gains on the first days and haven't really gained significantly since then. So you got to give them props that they've been able to hold the line. But I didn't watch Zelensky's response to it. I watched snippets. And I got up this morning and ended up, and that's where this morning's tirade about the Sudetenland came from. But I got up and I was reading his speech and I got pissed. I got so unbelievably pissed at it. The fear and the lack of balls this administration has is astounding. Either they are 100% a Russian puppet, or they are the weakest administration we have ever seen on foreign policy. And the reason I say that is you are literally sitting there. You're pitching to the people who have been fighting for their freaking lives. And you basically go, you know what? We're not even going to bother to put 2 cents into coming up with a peace plan because we're afraid that, I don't know, Russia has nukes, that we're going to end up basically taking their peace plan, reskin it, and hand it over and say that this is what the peace plan is. And it's so bad that Rubio apparently told senators in Congress behind closed doors that this is Russia's wish list. When the hell are we ever giving somebody else's wish list? And when are we publicizing that that's what our wish list or their wish list is? We know what their wish list is, and their wish list is Ukraine ceases to exist as an independent entity and becomes a puppet of Russia, either wholly absorbed or separate.
They want to absorb Ukraine because it is rich in energy, which helped to put the stuff in for their space program, things like that, and their nuclear stuff. That's the reason why they want Ukraine.
Yeah. Well, there's huge mineral reserves. There's huge oil reserves. I mean, there is believed to be enough oil reserves in, especially the area that Russia is trying to take.
And it's also, I think, by the Black Sea.
Mm-hmm.
Well, by the Black Sea, they can ship it out through Turkey. Now, admittedly, Russia does have a significant problem in the fact that they really want to hold Crimea. And to secure Crimea, the area that they're holding right now is necessary for securing Crimea. I get that. So they do have a strategic component of what they're doing and why. But the Ukrainians aren't independent people. No matter what the Russians want to believe, they are an independent people. It is no different than the Belgians compared to the Germans. They are a different group of people. They've identified as different. And so, I mean, unless we want to get into like gender identity, which is not the case, yes, they're both Slavic people, but I mean, the Belarusians are just as different from Russians as Russians are from Russia.
They've taken upon themselves a nationalism not unlike what Americans did prior to the Revolutionary War, where we found ourselves different from England.
I don't know if I'd probably go with something more like the difference between probably like Bohemia, which had always been like a close partnership of the German states,
mm-hmm.
and how it went separate versus going as part of the unified Germany because they ethnically were different. But even that's a little weird because the Bohemians are different ethnic group technically. It gets weird. I don't know if we have a good analogous because I mean there is a language similarity between Ukrainian, Russian, Belarusian, even Polish, that connects all those groups together ethnically. But it's almost like the different German states within Germany. I mean, you can have German states that are more French or more Swiss or more that are just they're still Germans, but they're a little different. So
like the Canucks.
But yeah. Or I mean, actually probably if we want to go with an American analogy, I would say it's probably the difference between like us and Canada. I mean, Canadians are Americans. And I say Americans, not as in United States of America. I'm saying like North Americans. Canadians and people of the United States, we're about as close as you can be without being like one country.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting more divided now based on the rhetoric of our leadership. But realistically, I mean, you go to Canada, I couldn't tell the difference between a Canadian and an American. Maybe, I mean, even depending on where you go, they might say A, and then you go out to Minnesota and you get A, and it's like, okay, well, where am I? I can't tell.
Canada's definitely on my bucket list.
You live like 2 miles from Canada.
Well,
across the bridge. Don't they have like mounted Canadian police that just wander around on moose to bring Americans across the river?
No.
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 Did you guys ever see the movie Canadian Bacon?
Yeah.
Okay. I swear to God, we are living in Canadian Bacon. I always thought that movie was like kind of a bad movie with some funny moments. I swear to God, I feel like we're living in that movie.
I think I kind of stumbled onto it the other day. I was like thinking about how, why, because basically this whole video was kind of like led into another one, which was about why the American South is so religious. And a lot of it can be traced back to the lost cause myth and how their religion is so entwined into who they are as a person and who they are as a culture, that the very thought of separating like them from that terrifies them.
I mean, the lost cause myth.
It's the whole separation
Yeah.
from God, and the whole, well, we should be looked at more favorably because it was the federal government coming down here and trying to tell us how to do everything. So
but do you think if
that victim mentality from that?
Well, I think the victim mentality is definitely part of the evangelical movement, especially post, really post like the Roe versus Wade. They definitely have a victim mentality on that. But let's take the South out of it. Let's look at something like, I don't know, Minnesota. And is it actually the religion component a difference between urban and rural? That the urban area focus on religion is lessened than that in the rural area? Or if it is still active, it is a different, because you're not having like the same social pressure in an urban environment to be part of this church or this. Now it will exist, like the Jewish the Orthodox Jewish groups in like New York. I mean, there's a very heavy pressure to maintain, the status quo within that group. Similar with Muslim groups and Christian groups elsewhere, but overall, you can get out of the church group quickly because you just move to a different part of town and start hanging out with people that aren't part of the church. Now, admittedly, you may ostracize yourself from everybody you know, but you can do it, and there are a lot of people to replace that. If you did that in a small town or a rural area, you don't have that same availability of people and time. So I kind of wonder whether or not the evangelical movement is the same battle that has always been going on of rural versus urban, and I see it kind of as like three stages. You had herders versus farmers versus city folk. And if you look at stuff like going on in Africa, there's a whole thing about like the Mali's like a good country that I kind of point to. So you have the herders pissed off at the farmers because what do you have to do? You have to herd through land, and if somebody's fencing things off for farming, you can't herd through their land. So you end up in combat. Now, the thing is, you may have a religious dispute because one might be Muslim and the other one be Christian, and you get into a battle. But then on top of that, you have urban people telling you, well, here's what the ethos are of what we're doing and how we're going to do, and this is how things work, because that's how it works in the city. And then the rural people go, dude, it doesn't work that way here. Like, we run our own show. And that happens even here in the U.S. That's like one of the huge divisions between like a state like West Virginia, which is very decentralized, and a state like, or a state like Jersey, which isn't. I mean, Jersey has multiple. It's almost like one big city kind of coming and going until you get down to the southern part of the state. So, I don't know.
I can kind of chime in on it a little bit. So, looking at the South, very spread out compared to what the North was. You're talking about about urban versus, basically being out in the wilderness. Religion becomes
Not necessarily out in the wilderness, but at least being rural.
Yeah, rural.
Yeah.
So, religion becomes a unifying feature, whereas something urban, you're next door to your neighbors, everyone's relying upon each other. But you get out into the rural areas, and well, you got to be able to keep in touch with the guy that provides milk, or you got to be able to keep in touch with the person that does blank. All of a sudden, religion becomes something that kind of concentrates them all together.
A church becomes a central gathering point.
Exactly.
Yes. Now, the question is, why is that different than what it is in New England? New England, you also have with the exception of Boston, prior to, I mean, there were some small cities, but really Boston was your biggie. Why would a rural state like Maine or New Hampshire or Vermont not be going through the same thing? And I think part of it has to do with how those states started, where by the time Alabama and Mississippi were really settled, the Native American populations were really kind of driven out. Mm-hmm. They were moved. They were already retreating into different areas. When New England was getting settled, we don't talk about it. Like, I don't remember really too much talk about it in American history. The town of Portland in Maine was wiped out, completely wiped out. It was known as Falmouth. And Native Americans came down, just wiped everybody out, and boom, town was gone. It took them years to go back to resettling it. And we don't talk about the battles that took place during that time period. But where I'm going with that is one of the central posts in town during those time periods was the central building or house that you used as defense. And so everybody went there. And almost every single one of them, if you drive through like a New England town that still has one, if you drive through town, it is a box with windows on all the sides so that you can shoot out and defend yourself from attack. But if you heard the call, that's where you went. That was your meeting place. That was where you got together. Yeah, it really was. And so a mini fort, really. And it's one of those things that, like, I wonder if those kind of things, as many years as we are past that, is that still having an effect on the cultural impacts of areas that those 200 years later, because the other thing that then ended up happening in New England is it got industrialized. Like, they were on the front line of industrialization because of all the rivers with falls that they could harness all the water power. I mean, if you look through around the Boston area, you got Worcester, you got, you've got Concord, New Hampshire, you've got all the ones up the river, Manchester. In Maine, you've got Scarborough and I forget what the sister town is on the other side. Sanford, I think. You've got Lewiston and Auburn. You've got Bath and Brunswick. All of them had mills right there where they were churning out manufacturing. And that's something the South didn't do. They stayed, even to this day, they're still more agricultural minded due to the mass expanses of land than New England had. And the land was better for growing stuff. So they didn't have the need. The other interesting thing, especially with, like, if you look at a map of Virginia, all the major cities, with the exception of like Norfolk and or the original cities that grew up, are all right along I-95. Mm-hmm. And I-95 runs right along the fall line. So all the cities built up right there: Fredericksburg, Richmond, Petersburg, Arlington, or Alexandria, all of them right at the fall line, because that's as far as you could navigate on a boat to deliver supplies. And then at that point in time, you had to take it off the boat and move it inland. Look at the Mississippi River. You can navigate all the way to Pittsburgh, for crying out loud. You can go all the way up into Minnesota. I mean, you can get anywhere on that thing. Where the best river you had going north of Virginia.
I hate navigating on the Mississippi River. They're slow.
I kind of want to do a Huck Finn thing. I want to do a Huck Finn tour. Like I want to just like find somebody who has done it and just float down the river on like a raft for like a week, doing a Huck Finn trip.
It's so boring. It's like driving along and looking at Christmas lights with your mom and dad. And how you're just like going slow and you can't leave the car, you're stuck.
Are we there yet?
Dude, come on. What we deal with in our everyday life of running around like rabbits, how awesome would that be? You literally can't do anything. You just chill and just watch the world go by. Read a book.
No, you don't understand. You say that, but when you have to stand the watch.
You know, that would make for a good pub crawl, the Mississippi pub crawl. We just float on the Mississippi till we get to a town. Let's hit a bar. Yeah.
That can get to end very quickly.
I want to do like find like or start up like a tour group that focuses on America-based water tours. So you basically like a river tour, but except for you're focused on different areas. So like one could be like different sections of the Mississippi, which could suck, could be awesome. But do like going up the coast, going and hitting Philly and hitting
kind of like the Viking tours that they have in Europe.
Yes, exactly. And they kind of have those here, but like I don't see us really investing in that as an interesting idea, like, which makes me think you almost need kind of like a small mom and pop, kind of like a Verbo thing where it's like, hey, I got a boat and I rent out some rooms and I'll take you up and down for this period and stuff.
You know, there's a famous, I can't remember which boat it is, but there's a very famous paddle boat that's just been sitting more or less in mothballs. I think it's close to St. Louis, and nobody's bought it.
Yeah, but that would be expensive to run though. That's where I think doing a smaller scope would be more feasible, and it allows you not.
That would
not
just
to get
be like another random like toy to sit in your yard. And God forbid you become like a billionaire.
I didn't say I'm doing it, dude. I don't know crap about water.
You can start calling me Captain.
I'd be like
Admiral.
No, I'd be like the guy in what's the Mary Poppins where the old captain on top of the roof where he's got the cannon get built out of the house. That's me. I'm selling this neighborhood, damn you all.
Meanwhile, I'm all over there like part of the ship, part of the crew. Mine would be like the frickin' Flying Dutchman. Spend so much time at sea that your head starts growing tentacles.
Well, we've been all over the place so far.
Oh my god. Oh, so I know we talked about it. The MAGA face before.
Oh yeah.
Did I tell you my theory on the MAGA face? I can't remember.
I think you started to.
I think it has to do with
like plastic surgery.
Well, no, it is the result of plastic surgery, but I think the plastic surgery is the mentality is coming from filters on phones. They do the filtered shot and then the filter cleans up your face so it looks all nice and smooth, but it looks not real. And then people end up doing between a combination of makeup and plastic surgery.
Well, I actually kind of thought something about MAGA face when you started talking about that. I started noticing about how all the women have like basically the same part in the middle of their hair that flows down, and it reminds me of late 70s. You know, I'm thinking back to like Charlie's Angels and Solid Gold and kind of that hairstyle.
Oh God, are you serious?
Yeah.
So you're telling me that right now there's some dude who's running the Angels stopping crimes. Probably not very well, but apparently doing.
Maybe Trump kind of sees himself as Oscar.
Could be. When we all know he's really Boz.
But you know, it was a thought, since that was a very kind of white woman haircut back then.
White woman haircut. Wow.
Yep.
Is it just me, or does it seem like Noam and Bondi are like their facial structure is like degenerating right before our eyes?
Mhm.
I mean, every time I see them, I'm like, oh my God, what happened?
So there was an image of Bondi, and she looked like just in the time that she has been doing this job, it is killing her. You always see like the president where they're like, oh man, look how much they've aged in like,
Yeah.
4 years. And it's like, admittedly, it's 4 years. This has been like 8 months. Like she probably isn't sleeping a lot. I would bet with everything that's going wrong with some of their crowning achievements. But, and I put that in quotes. That's not my statement. I think a lot of their crap is just horrible. But they showed a photo of her and she just looked haggard. I'm surprised Caroline Levitt isn't looking like that, because they're what was his name? The dude in the first one that disappeared into the bush. Do you remember that?
The heck you talking about?
The White
Just
House
and in the bush, in the bush.
White House spokesperson who disappeared. They turned it into a whole meme, which was hilarious. Disappeared into the bushes. What? Sean Spicer. There was. You don't. Oh my God! You got to look for the Homer thing, because it turned into like this Homer meme, where it was Homer just retreating back into the bushes.
Yeah, I know that meme.
It was making fun of Sean Spicer. I don't know if it was actually like a Simpsons reference that existed beforehand, and then they just started repurposing it for that. But that thing lit up after that, because he was getting asked some questions or something, or he saw the press coming, and instead of getting involved in it, he just kind of shrunk back into the bushes, and people saw it, and it's like, the hell are you doing, dude? So, like, you look at him, and my God, he was dealing with some same crap of just having to answer like these horrible situations. And he looked like hell by the time he was done. What's her name, who became Arkansas's horrible governor? She actually weathered that pretty well. But then she got involved with Podium Gate. You guys heard about that one, right?
Podium Gate.
Yeah. So she became the governor of, it was Huckabee is her name. She ended up becoming like the governor of Arkansas, I think.
Yeah, Mike Huckabee is her husband.
Yeah. She's the governor of Arkansas. Well, a couple years back.
He's her dad.
Her dad. Okay.
Something Sanders.
Her
Sanders.
married name is Sanders.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So she ended up spending like $1 million on a podium.
What?
Yeah. For state funds on a podium. It was some insane amount of money on a podium to stand to talk to the press.
Wow.
Well, it also comes out that she ended up doing a business trip to Europe. I want to say like Italy or something. And surprisingly, like 4 of her buddies are all on Facebook showing all kinds of photos of them out hanging around, partying, and everything else, all on company time and company dollar with this. The big question of, why did you buy from your friend this thing, and then where are all the expenses from this trip? And hey, nothing has ever really come of it, which is an indictment of the legal process within Arkansas. That the thing that kills me about politics is when you're looking at these things, honestly, we should be pissed off at all of it. Like, for me personally, whatever Arkansas does and how corrupt they are, that's their problem. Where it affects me is when their corrupt, illegally elected individuals or their corrupt individuals end up going into Congress and then affecting me in my state. But within my state, I should be pissed off at anything and everything that goes on that affects money spent unnecessarily or waste or crimes or anything else that occurs internally. And I don't care whose party it is. This isn't a popularity contest as far as I'm concerned. This is a business transaction.
Yeah.
And if the person opposite me is ripping me off, I should be pissed off. So why are the people of Arkansas not pissed off? Why are the people of Alabama not pissed off? I mean, Ivy there's been some questionable crap that she's been doing. Mississippi, Louisiana, New York. I mean, you can't tell me that there isn't serious amounts of corruption going on in New York City or LA or Chicago or any of these places. I'm pissed off that my local representatives about 10 years back got in bed with the friggin' people who run the toll road and instead kept giving them leverage against us that now most people don't even want to use that toll road. Nice. You put up a road that nobody wants to use. That's awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, they actually had the Pritchard Water Board down here is super corrupt, and that's been in the news a lot because Pritchard Water costs so much more. Like people were having to spend $100, $200 a month for water, whereas like Mobile Water was $20 a month on average for people. It turned out that they were siphoning that money, buying like fancy cars and Rolexes.
Do you know where that's rooted in? Racism. That's what I'm saying. Like it's the whole ideology. It's racist. It's designed to divide people.
Yeah.
Is it racism or is it just greed? And I mean, not to say that they can't be also racist.
It's selfish. It's cruel.
It is, but it's opportunism, and I think one of the things I want to make sure for clarity, and I think one of the things where the angry white backlash is the overusage of the term racism. There may be bigotry involved, but is it truly bigotry or is it opportunism? Is it selfishness? Is it greed? Whether or not the end result is taking advantage, it'd be like elder abuse. I mean, if you figure out that you can make money off the elderly, you may not necessarily be a bigot against the elderly. You just know that you have it, or even anti-Christian. You know what? We could sell Christian T-shirts that they love that we then take the money and use it to fund anti-Christian things.
Think back to that SNL skit for robot insurance. Remember that one?
No.
You don't remember that one? It was making fun of like elderly. That it was a infomercial where it was elderly people, kind of like a life alert, but you were buying robot insurance in case robots just burst through your door and tried to attack you. And kind of like remember if you remember right around the end of high school for us, there was also where people were selling insurance policies. If the rapture happened, that they would come and get your pets for you. You remember that?
No, actually, I think I kind of do. But there's my point. It's like, all right, fine, I'll sell that insurance. I mean, why the hell not? If you're dumb enough to buy it,
yeah.
As long as I execute on what I agree to, it's not necessarily bigotry. It's just taking advantage of a situation.
Hey, I have something to ask you guys, and this might be slightly off topic, but I got to share this.
We have a topic. That's
we've not been on topic at all.
Yeah, and like I hold on before you jump into that. I really want to know what topic are we on. But carry on. What do you got?
All right, so there was this guy and his friends. I guess they got a whole bunch of inflatable sex dolls, and they dressed them all up in clothes, and they let them all go at the same time. And said the rapture happened, and we're putting it on like social media or whatever. And It's kind of funny because I would have loved to have been that fly on the wall to be like, see who actually bought it. I think I did like send you guys a video over on Instagram about the kid that pranked his mom thinking that the aliens had invaded.
Yeah, I saw that earlier. Yeah.
She's just like losing her mind. And I'm just over there chuckling. I'm like, God, that was so, I mean, it was just a well thought out prank, so.
I want to go back to the getting off topic. Like, really, what topic are we ever on? Like, occasionally we have a topic and we're talking about.
Well, I think we don't really like have a topic per se, but usually when we get together and we do these types of things, inevitably, it always steers to the daily life that we have to deal with, with
religion, politics.
Yeah, all of it. I mean, it's like it's unavoidable, and I think though, I felt that though, like it's like everywhere now. Like people, it's like, how can you not talk about what we're dealing with on a daily basis? Like it's crazy.
I think it's hard not to get surrounded by what is happening. I think for a fair amount of our life, we had moments where we felt we were living history. 9/11, there were those moments where you had that highlight where it's like, oh my God, this is historical. Where we are right now, we are like everything, and I think even like, let's assume people will consider where, oh my God, these liberals are saying X, Y, Z, which I don't think we really are. I think we have liberal tendencies, sure, but I don't think we're what you would actually coin as liberals. Probably I'm the worst of us out of that particular grouping. But if you, even on the right, I think they're what you would consider the right-hand side of the political world in America. There's this feeling like we're on a precipice of something. And it's almost like we can't see over the edge. We see multiple possibilities of what could occur. We see many futures that could be ahead of us. But we're all fighting to try and create something that we feel is appropriate and reasonable. Some of us doing it violently, some of us doing it peacefully, some of us doing it with words, some of us doing it with actions. And with that out there, I think it's hard to live in this time and be ignorant of it. And if you're ignorant of it, that's not necessarily saying something negative that you're dumb. It just means you're choosing to not pay attention. And part of that involves only listening to one side. Part of that involves being truly ignorant of what the other side is saying. You don't have to agree with it, but at least if you hear it, if you understand what is being said, even if you think it's the daftest thing that's ever been mentioned by a human being, obsessing about aliens attacking right now. Honestly, if aliens attack us right now, they'd be doing us a favor because we are the most divisive we have been in my lifetime, and they would unify us almost immediately. We would not care if there were illegal aliens coming across the border because we would have illegal aliens shooting from us from the skies. And yeah, at that point in time, I'm sorry, the creatures from Beetlejuice 9 coming to blast us out of existence. Hey, you know what? I don't care what color human you are. We're all in this together. Thank you. I've been saying that all along. But anyhow, so aliens from space, do us a favor. Just show up. You'll ally us for at least a good decade or so. It'll do us a favor. The only problem is by the time this message makes it all the way out in space, the aliens on Beetlejuice 9 are like, who the hell are those a-holes? Oh, they're dead. They've been dead for like 10 million years. Anywho.
Yeah. No, you're right. I feel like we are in some sort of an era is coming to an end. We're seeing some sort of societal shift. It does definitely feel like that. Looking back, how the Gilded Age ended, or ended up going into World War I, or even the Old West kind of fading away, and all of a sudden machinery taking over, industrial revolution.
Here's some thoughts I've had. Usually, like when you turn on Fox News, um, it's usually when anytime anything goes wrong for current administration, it's it's the Democrats, and this is like the same kind of thing since when Hitler was in power, except replace Democrats with Jews.
Yeah.
So
Actually, replace it with communists.
Yeah.
That was their first scapegoat, were the communists.
And I noticed that when Cittadini came into power in 2016, by the time he gets out, it'll be what, 2028?
Dude, he is not surviving this.
No, I'm just saying hypothetically. You know what I mean? Let's say he somehow
Okay.
eats it to 28.
All right. The amazing Cheeto gets some additional preservatives like.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, how long was Hitler in power? 12 years. Is this like the length of like fascism, like when the public starts to kind of like, all right, we've had enough of this. That's my point about this. It's like, because it kind of feels like people are starting to kind of wake up, but then again, I've been disappointed in the past, so
yeah,
I want to be hopeful, but
I think it's kind of they're starting to cannibalize themselves a little bit. I mean, just look at MTG, her whole rift with everything. It's the party's starting to splinter and fracture and turning against each other now.
Yeah, I think she's trying to save herself.
Yeah. And Ryan, you're probably right. She's probably looking at a broadcasting career now.
Something.
I can definitely see that.
She has something else planned. She has another. This is a way of saving face that, like, I was all on board, but look, they turned against me from what the message was. I know there's I've read about somebody in the French Revolution who had a similar arc, but I can't think of who it is. Now I think they still ended up at the guillotine at the end, but it definitely doesn't seem, she's not doing any of this out of altruistic means. There's nothing in any of her history that strikes me that she has any compunction or feeling for other individuals, which she has to be granted the opportunity to change. But at the same token, if a dog bites, you don't go putting your hand in its mouth.
Did you guys see the footage of the New York mayor and Cittadini?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, you want to talk about? How I was talking about pussing out about Ukraine and stuff like that. About
did you notice where they took their picture together?
It depends on which one. There was one I saw where it was like Trump going, "Oh, Mamdani," and it was very weird look on his face.
So Mamdani had him stand with him in front of a picture of FDR.
I didn't see that one. So I don't know how. Again, I don't know how the radical right is not losing their minds over that, because, like, I'm looking at the people who are posting out there like crazy, be it on Reddit or on Facebook or whatever else, and they're going nuts over, oh my God, Mamdani is going to destroy this and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the same thing that's kind of going on with the U.S.
Seattle?
No, just the federal government in general. Mamdani has is mayor of New York. You can't tell me that there are not groups within New York who will attempt to use the legal system to counter things that are truly disastrous for the state of New York or for the city of New York City. I guess it's not the city of New York City, it's the city of New York. But you can't tell me that that push won't happen. It's happening against Trump. And somebody posted up and they were like, number of injunctions placed on president orders by president. And it was like 4 against Clinton, 4 against Bush, 8 against Obama. And then it got to Trump and it's like 96. And my response was, maybe if he weren't doing things that were so contestable in court to earn an injunction. Think about that. It's not the fact that that an injunction could occur and that the interpretation is that the courts are against you. But the reality of it is you are doing something so bad that the courts are immediately going to stop.
Yeah.
That normally the courts would let you get away with. Apparently that's an indication of what you're doing, not what the issue is with the courts. Same thing goes with the Supreme Court. We understand that we may not like the decisions coming out of the Supreme Court. And honestly, they got to get rid of the freaking shadow docket. That crap has to stop. Like, clearly has to stop because it doesn't allow anyone to understand what the hell the law actually is. So that crap needs to end immediately. Either accept the case or don't accept the case, rule on the case or don't rule on the case. But don't use a shadow docket to give us fake laws. So that crap needs to end. But we know the courts are going to do the court things. New York, you can't tell me the courts aren't going to do the court things. If there is an area that doesn't have like metric butt ton of attorneys, it's going to be LA and New York. LA for all the entertainment lawyers and New York for all the business lawyers. It's going to get challenged. It's going to happen. So I don't know why everybody's sweating it. You're not going to turn into, like, one of the things that I see people posting is like, it's going to turn into this like jihadist wonderland. And I'm like, what crack are you smoking? Have you been to New York City? Like, I've been there once in my freaking life. I am not worried about that place beating the crap out of somebody if they are trying to be a terrorist.
Well,
like, they've seen it happen.
Meme.
They don't care anymore.
I saw a meme with a pickup truck and a shotgun in it, and it said the caption said, "Socialist mayor, not in my New York City."
Yeah.
The
yeah,
whole
like you live in New York City, dude.
No, why it doesn't even affect you? Like,
yeah.
I had somebody from a state far, far away from New York City, not affected, not any connection to New York City, come out and make a comment at one point on, we all have to be involved in New York City. And I'm like, do I? Like, if New York City goes down as like one of the trade pieces in America, in some ways that hurts America. In other ways, it may help America by spreading everything out of New York City into other areas.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that what Trump has said he wanted to do with the federal government, is split it up so that other states profit from it instead of it just being Virginia, Maryland, and DC? Okay. Same thing goes with New York. I mean, LA losing a bunch of its movie business to Atlanta helped Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it made things where you could make movies for cheaper in Atlanta. Well, now Atlanta's as expensive as LA, but for making movies.
And it's moving away from Atlanta now.
Yeah.
A lot of it's being done in New Orleans now.
Yeah. So, I mean, those kind of things, it boggles my mind. And honestly, if they don't like them, they impeach them. They can do that. That's the beauty of our government. You don't like something and it's going really, really bad, you boot them out.
Yep.
Later, sucker. So, it's not even veiled bigotry. The flat out bigotry boggles my mind. Going back to the Christian nationalist component that we talked about earlier, briefly, we kind of touched on it a little bit, but the Christian nationalist bigotry is astounding, and it needs to end. It flat out needs to end, and they need the Bible crammed so far up their ass to tell them, if you're not going to read it, we're going to stop you up until you start actually reading it. Because we're tired of you crapping all over everything. Because, and I've said this before, I live in a neighborhood that is predominantly Hindus and Muslim. I have no problem with it at all. I don't worry about going to the local grocery store and all of a sudden somebody crying Allahu Akbar and all of a sudden I'm in the middle of a jihadist issue. So, you know, pardon my French. Bleep that one out. Are completely off topic. Final closing thoughts?
No.
You know what? I don't know when this comes out, but hopefully everybody has a good Thanksgiving, because that's about in my opinion, the most American holiday that we have. Sitting around with a bunch of people we love or hate, eating generally an overcooked bird that's a little dry, watching football, drinking some beer, maybe smoking a cigar on the front porch, and freezing our butts off before we go back to hating each other on the next morrow.
And beating the crap out of each other to get to it.
And supporting capitalism and the NFL.
Yes. Though it would be more patriotic if actually we mixed the 4th of July in and we also did fireworks on Thanksgiving. Then we would have the ultimate American holiday. But
so are you proposing that they somehow merge Thanksgiving and the 4th together?
No, I say we do it. I mean, we call it like the Festival of American.
I don't think we need to combine fireworks with people deep frying turkeys and drinking too much.
Excuse me, we're already combining like grills, like deep frying.
You're gonna have prayer there.
Fireworks, guns, and sometimes boats for 4th of July. So, motorized craft is an additional problem. But so yeah, enjoy your Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And if you celebrate Hanukkah or Christmas, enjoy that. And if you celebrate, Ramadan, whenever that comes around, enjoy that. Why? Because that's what's cool about being an American. You can celebrate whatever the hell you want. And if you're part of the Satanist temple, yeah, go put a Baphomet, however you pronounce it, I never remember. Go Baphomet. Put it out. That thing. Go put it out at a church. Why? Or in front of the courthouse. Why? Because you can. Because that's what's cool about this country. You can be weird and strange, and that's what's awesome.
You too can be touched by his noodly appendage.
Yes. And may our Pastafarians have a wondrous holiday as well. So, all right, freak out, y'all.
Later, Al.